You are right. I agree with you, Mark. It is cold, frigid wind chills. And earlier this morning, at least now we're trying anyway to get onto the upper swing. Hello, everyone. I'm wave meteorologist Brian Good. Welcome to Snow Talk on this 5th day of December. Christmas 20 days away. Can you believe that? Moving right along. Hope you got all your running done that you need to. At least we got some sunny days ahead of us here. I know it's cold today, but we're going to hold on to these beautiful views out the window all the way through at least Sunday morning. And then Sunday afternoon, we will get into a cloudier setup and rain. Not snow, but rain is going to overtake the area. And then we'll get into the situation for next week here in just a few minutes. The wind, rain coming, or the snow showers are relatively brief last night, but they did cause more of an issue around Indianapolis to Ohio. They were more in the path of some of those snow squalls. For us, it was just the strong wind and the cold wind chills that we had this morning. Louisville dropped to a wind chill of 3 above this morning, but several of you did fall below 0 for wind chills earlier today. So yikes. All right, well, we're glad that's kind of sort of over with anyway. Let's get into the outlook here for our snow chances as we evolve through the next couple of weeks. Right now, I'm going to just focus on the one that is in play still for the middle and latter portions of next week. Technically, it's not on really any map. It's just the pattern favors a setup to develop, and I'll explain where my thoughts are on that coming up here in just a second. And then after that, I think we will stay in a relatively calm pattern anyway, a little more on a milder setup before I think the 20th of December, and thereafter I think we'll get back into a wintry zone once again. So the pattern will relax a bit and then get back on track. That's normal to see that happen. Usually cold snaps around here. 2 weeks has been an average on most of them. Sometimes they can last longer, but on average about 2 weeks is when the overall pattern in the northern hemisphere can hold at its potential. Then there's a bit of a change, but if the key players are still at play, it will snap back into that winter phase again. And the cycle may just keep repeating all through the winter season. That's how you end up with a winter that ends up being labeled as, oh, that was a rough winter. It's cold and snowy. But it isn't cold and snowy the whole time. There are relaxations that happen. And one of those will be briefly happening as we head into the weekend, and the next one after the 14th of December. I'll explain. If you're confused on dates, I'll try to give you it all on the 10-day coming up here to help explain it for you guys. All right, Bardstown, sunny Bardstown right now. Cold outside this morning. As I mentioned, we had a lot of teens outside, single-digit wind chills, even a few below 0. Came with that strong wind last night with Louisville reaching 49 miles per hour for a wind gust. We did about 40 to 50 several times during the overnight. LaGrange roughly at about 46 miles per hour. So Adam, I saw your comments of about 42 there into Bloomington, if I remember right. So yeah, we had a very, very windy night. Hopefully your inflatables survived. I left mine off completely. I didn't want anything on because I didn't want to chase it down the road this morning, especially on a cold morning like this. Right now we're 21 outside, and we got 17 in Salem, 14 as you head toward Bedford right now into Indiana. As far as the feels like numbers, well, they've improved somewhat. North Vernon still holding on to 1 degree for a wind chill. 9 right now in Louisville, 6 in LaGrange, and 7 in Shelbyville. Nothing record-breaking, but for the first few days of December, it certainly stands out. But maybe this means we're going to be pros at this once we get into the core of winter, right? And we're like, hey, we can handle this again because we already went through our training wheels for it. Still some snow showers and flurries have been trying to fly around. These last little bands do tend to linger a bit in cold air. And actually, some of this is coming off of Lake Michigan. The moisture feed actually can still build all the way down south, but it just weakens. Sometimes you get a little bit of an enhancement as it wiggles its way through central and east Kentucky. But overall, it is a quiet setup here today. We're going to see a decent amount of sunshine for sure. Now, our northern counties, we'll keep an eye on you guys because you could still get 1 or 2 of those little bands off of Lake Michigan that maybe give you clouds or perhaps even a few little sneaky flurries that could fly in. That wouldn't surprise me one bit because it is cold, Arctic air, of course. We're going to stay in the 20s all day today. The wind chill, we're in the single digits now. We're going to climb and improve into the teens for the wind chills, and then we'll likely get stuck there all day today. So just a cold day. Make sure to keep your hands and your noggin covered up there. Try to stay warm as you're doing some of your errands today. Or if you know someone that's out working in this, that's off to our fire crews, especially. They have to work. Fires are common on cold blasts. Sometimes people use candles or their oven or something or a space heater to try to stay warm. And we always say, don't do that, but it happens. And I get it. Some people just have no other choice. They take that risk, and it sometimes doesn't go well. So our fire crews have got a tough job in these cold snaps because they got to battle the constant freezing of all their equipment there. So tough day, but at least I'm glad at least it's sunny. Okay, so tonight it is going to be another cold night tonight. Back into similar numbers. If anything, we may even be a degree or two colder tomorrow morning than we are today. But the wind chill will not be. The wind is going to be relaxing slowly throughout the day, and by tomorrow morning, the actual temperature and the wind chill will actually be fairly close together. So it won't be as brutal of a day without wind. The wind makes a difference, but nonetheless, it will be cold. All right, we make some ground as we head into the day, though, on Friday itself. We'll likely get close to the freezing mark, if not a degree or two above that. More sunshine, and then widen just a few clouds. But, hey, the 40s are back with some sunshine as we head into Saturday before we get ready for rain later on Sunday. So here's how things are going to play out for next week. And it is a very interesting setup, but one, it's very familiar for us. The lead wave is the Sunday wave. That is the one that has been hiding out here into the southwest. Remember, I told you guys, as long as it hangs out there, we will keep getting these clippers and these cold attacks that keep dropping down. But once it decides to roll on out and make itself known, well, then the pattern starts to change. And it looks like it's going to do just that. It's going to roll on out Sunday into Monday, and that will start to change the configuration of the flow of how it dives in from Canada, with a little bit more of an influence from some of the Pacific air as well, getting injected into this. So it gets a little more exciting too, though, when you do that, because clippers, yeah, you can get some light snow, but for snow lovers, they're boring because they're light. If you want something a little more exciting, you've got to inject the warmer air into it. It just comes at a risk. Just don't want too much. Right now, this is going to be rain for sure, Sunday to Monday. Good soaking rain. Still working on the amounts on this. That has been ranging anywhere from a ½ inch to an inch and a half. Right now, if you're going to get an inch and a half, I think it's going to be a little closer to the Tennessee border, where there could be some thunder. The signal for lightning and thunder is still showing up around Nashville to the south. Could we get a bolt of thunder, a little rumble of both a lightning and a rumble, a rolling round of thunder there that kind of rolls in the skies there for a while? That's possible. I wouldn't rule that out, but we're not looking at anything on the strong or severe side. All right, this is a soaking rain coming our way for Sunday, especially Sunday nights, which means Monday morning we're monitoring that for any impacts on travel there, because it will be perhaps some moderate to heavy rainfall in pockets. Okay, now that lead wave is important because it moves on by quickly, fairly harmless, but it's a key player because after it moves by, it leaves behind the tail stretched out across the southern part of the United States. This isn't going anywhere. It lingers. Now we've got Clipper land trying to show up. It doesn't know the low left, the southwest corner of the country. So it's thinking, hey, I got a party once again coming down toward the Ohio Valley. They love Clippers. I'm on my way. Oh, wait a minute. Something's in my way. Where did that come from? And that's basically how this Clipper is going to act. So it has, given it personality here, it has two choices to make. Either it gets with the game and just quickly merges with the system and heads on toward the eastern seaboard, or it slows down a bit and digs far enough south to allow for perhaps a little more of an organized storm on the tail of the system to develop. I think the placement of where this boundary is important too. If the tail end portion of this is near the Gulf of Mexico, which is running quite warm, that could also help induce a low pressure. But we've got to keep an eye on the push that's coming from the northwest. If it's too strong, then there won't be the ability to phase anything here and get a low to develop. If it's too strong, the northwest push, it's going to take it and make it transient and move it quickly to the east coast, and it's nothing burger for us. If it slows down, it has a chance to then become a little more organized and then track through maybe Huntsville and East Tennessee, and then therefore makes things a little more interesting for us on the wintry weather side of things. Now, I've been watching the models back and forth on this almost every single run. Some slow it down, try to phase it, some move it along, some slow it down, and they will vary back and forth. That's telling me that the model does indeed see the potential that a low will try to form here and race along the edge of that cold air. So it's not off the table yet, and that's why it's still on the snow board. is I still think this is a setup. I've seen it happen several times in developing, but I've also, to be fair, I've also witnessed it several times where it does move too fast and misses us altogether and gets shoved to East Coast. That's happened a few times as well. There's not one way or another to really pick that out this early in the game, only to tell you that the players are on the field for that kind of a setup, and we'll just track it. As I say, it needs more time in the oven, right? So here's the Euro. It takes the lead wave that comes in Sunday night, Monday with rain, moves it, and now we just wait to see if we try to get any kind of phase. Now, the Euro here likes to quickly phase this and bring the snow more into East Kentucky. The GFS wavers a bit, but does try to bring it closer to us. Even the Canadian at times have been trying to give it a little bit more of a snow band, a little closer to Kentucky, Tennessee, and Ohio. This would be probably Wednesday or Thursday if I had to guess right on the timing of it. We'll see. I don't think there's anything to worry about on it. We do not technically have snow in the forecast yet. There's no reason to at this point until we figure out if we can get that to slow down. And the fact that these other pieces, the Clipper piece especially coming out of Canada, is not in the upper air network, surprise, surprise, that leads us a lot of question marks on the longer term. And now I think we'll get back into another relaxation period that should take us into about the 20th of December. And then after the 20th, and yes, getting toward Christmas, that's when I think we will try to see another surge back again to get onto a wintry track. Let's hope it's not delayed. Sometimes we see those flips happening again, and the models are about 5 days too fast. And when it comes to December, we don't have no room for lag. All right, we want to be on target here on the timing, because this is the time of the year. If it's going to snow, and snow lovers love it, it's got to be close to that holiday period. So we don't want to lag, and then ends up being the first week of January, which we've seen that happen before, right? So at least we got some relaxation patterns coming our way, which is good. Here's a look at the Euro ensembles, by the way, for next week. It is interesting that you saw there that the model I showed you did not have snow over Kentucky, right? But look at the model ensembles. It sees its potential. Even a few blues mixed in there. It's not filled in all the way yet, but I'm going to be watching this, and certainly the runs today. If this starts to fill in more and more, you're going to see the actual maps then start to reflect that. So this is what's great about tools like this, is that we can kind of sense where the data is going to go in the future, and then the weather models will catch up. That's why I'm not a big fan of weather models being sent out on social media too early in advance, when you really got to look at the data first and see how this is going to play out. And if you gain a lot of support, then we'll have quite a bit of action to show. I hope that all makes sense. It's always easy to take it one step at a time, right? As far as the colder air goes, this is looking at the North Pole straight down, and here's Kentucky over here. This is a strong polar vortex signal. All right, most of it's centered over Siberia, but this is not a cross-polar flow yet. We'll see if we can see this turn around, wrap around to the east into Canada, and maybe get a cross-polar flow that would then attack. I don't think it's going to go toward the East Coast, so they may go right into the middle of the country. And that would be, again, after the 20th. If it's going to happen, it will likely be then. All right, let's get your 10-day, get some of your questions as well. Let's see. What time will the rain move in, Renee, on Sunday? Right now, it looks like it's going to be after 5 p.m. It'll be a bit staggered because the air's got to saturate, so that always kind of gives us a buffer zone. But I would say it's fair after 5 p.m., and the core of it will be toward the evening and overnight hours. Okay. Are we going to have a snow event Saturday the 14th to the 15th? I don't know. I think, if anything, if this even plays out with the phase system, Nancy, it would be maybe a clipper, maybe a very light event, but still too early. Hi, Jason. Hope you're well. Getting things ready for the ski season. Yeah, these little rain events, they're a bummer, right? Because even the snow machines that try to make up the snow, then you get a heavy rain event, kind of messes it up, and you got to rebuild it all over again. But at least we're getting some colder shots of air to make snow at times. Even days like today are perfect, right? And certainly will be tomorrow. All right. Let's see. Hi, Carrie. How are you doing? Well. Matter of fact, I like seeing why things happen. Okay, yeah, Carrie, I'm obsessed with that. I want to know the why on things like this and systems. And, as a team, we compare our notes on past experiences of what we've seen happen before. I mean, we're lucky to have a unique team in Louisville that has got a lot of history in this area. So we've seen these things fall apart and develop. We have noticed signals before that give us an indicator one way or another. So we kind of just put our minds together. Doesn't always work out perfectly, but sometimes it can be better than a weather model can be. So, which is great. All right, guys. Sorry it's a little short. Got to run here today. Get ready for the midday show. But I'll be back at 11 a.m. And of course, I'll be back tomorrow as well, bright and early. Another cold Friday morning coming our way. All right. So you guys take care. Enjoy your Thursday. I'll see you on midday.